Welcome. You're listening to Underlying Pigment, a hairdresser podcast. My name is Rob Jernigan, and I'm sitting down with individuals from all areas of the salon industry to talk about their processes, the lessons they have learned, and how they try to make an impact. My goal is to bring together stylists, along with current and possible future salon owners, to learn from each other, help each other grow, share their love, their struggles, and personal insights of the industry. Hope you enjoy. Okay, so today I'm sitting down with Steve Izzo, who has become like the most regular person on my podcast lately since the launch, so which is definitely not a complaint. But today we're going to talk about commission versus booth rent. Huge subject all the time within this industry. Stylists asking all the time, salon owners asking me all the time. So I want to talk to someone who has a good grasp on this, who has been on both sides of the fence. And I'll let you start.
Yeah, the only reason you have me on here is because I like to talk. I can't wait to get here. I beg you to let me come on.
I think we've got like 5 more episodes planned after this, honestly. So you'll tell me what they are and what the topics will be, I'm sure.
I love this subject. I actually go into the schools and I teach a program on commission versus rental. And we call this a fear-based decision, like most everything we do in life. But I ran commission salons through most of my career. And I actually love commission salons. Yeah. I really do. What I did notice over time was the trend pushing more towards rental and realizing that it was harder and harder to find people that actually wanted to work a commission salon. Mm-hmm. And recognizing the fact that it was such huge maintenance on an owner's part to run a commission salon, I got to the point where I said, you know what? I don't want that maintenance anymore. It was hard because, especially in our case, my name is on the sign. So then you're bringing people in for rental and you're not in quite as much control over the quality of the work.
Right.
That type of thing.
But you're still to blame for the quality of work or lack of quality going out the door.
So what I want to do is present the pros and cons.
Yeah.
And I presented it to the schools as if you were applying for a job. Mm-hmm. Okay. And I think this is more important probably to new stylists as anything. They are the ones that are probably going to run into this the most. And yet there's a lot of people out there today that probably work in one type of atmosphere or the other, and they probably have thought about it. Mm-hmm. What's right for them. And, a lot of this, there's emotional decisions and then there's business decisions, and a lot of it's based on numbers. And you got to follow the numbers. If you're going to understand the numbers, you have to understand it. Yep. Yeah. And it's one of the biggest problems. When I tell people that they're going to go in and apply for a position, I talk about what's the size of the salon? Is it a small salon? Is it got 6 or 8 chairs or more? How were you greeted? Were you greeted by the owner? Were you greeted by the manager? How were you greeted by the staff?
Right.
My wife talks about how comfortable is it?
Yeah.
And to her, that's an important aspect of the salon. Mm-hmm. She wants to walk in there and feel like it's comfortable. Right. Like you feel like it's home, like you want to be there.
Yeah.
And that's a big part. And like you have said, how many times have you moved on to another place and your clients go, geez, I'm glad you're out of that place.
Yeah.
Yeah. Huge thing. What is the mood? What's the atmosphere? Does it feel like a team? And you can tell that a lot of times just walking in and applying for a job. You walk in, does everybody speak to you?
Right.
Or do they all look at you and just kind of turn their heads and keep on going? How clean is it? One of the things that I've noticed, you can walk into salons. We talked earlier about the COVID virus and stuff and how much sanitation we have. I've walked in salons and seen dust bunnies floating around the corners. I mean, come on, at a glance. And then like my wife has a policy, if she goes into a place, she goes into the bathroom.
Yeah.
Okay. How clean is your bathroom?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that says how clean you are all over again.
Yep.
I've actually gone into restaurants with her, and she's turned around and made me leave because she didn't like the restaurant's bathroom. It was like, come on, honey, I want to eat.
Right.
No. And she always says that to people. If you're going to apply for a job, ask to use the bathroom.
Yeah.
Okay. All of that type of thing. But anyway. In comparison, I'll start out with commission salons, and I'll talk a little bit about that. You got to remember it's an employment based, okay, and you have to ask how is the commission structured. Probably one of the worst things that ever happened in our industry is when commissions started out way back there. They started out at 50%, and it was the wrong number to start out with. It doesn't work today. It probably worked then, okay?
Right.
I don't think it works today. And the saddest part about trying to run a commission salon today is that figure is still stuck in everybody's head.
Right.
They want at least 50%.
Yep.
And you know what? It's hard to run your business on 50%, and especially given the nature of retail sales today. Because if you don't have high retail sales, you don't have a lot of extra income coming in, you're going to chew up your 50% very, very quickly.
Definitely.
A bad thing. And is it a flat commission or is it a sliding scale commission? Or how complicated is it? You know, I remember when I ran commission salons, you know, we'd get into all these real complicated formulas for it. You know, you get this kind of commission up to this kind of point, and this kind of retail, you get this much money back, and it got very, very complex. And truthfully, 90% of the hairdressers out there hate numbers.
Yeah.
They hate working with them. They hate working with percentages. All that stuff is very, very complex, and half the time they don't understand how they're getting paid.
Exactly.
And I think, and sometimes it's meant to be complicated. Unfortunately.
I've seen some scenarios with that. So, I mean, it's.
Yeah. And then, you know, are there product charges on top of what you're going to do for work? Are they charging you for the chemicals you're using? Are they charging you for anything else besides that? You get something taken off the top.
Right.
And that's a big area. Okay. Do you have regular evaluations? In other words, are they going to sit with you and set up goals and that type of thing and talk about your future, where you're going? These are your numbers. Do they actually track your numbers?
Right.
Some salons do, sometimes they don't. Yeah, it makes a big difference. I always tell people go into a salon, look at the shelves, and are they fully stocked? You know, they're going to ask you to sell their products, but a lot of times they don't have what you need. Okay. Mm-hmm. And do they carry enough of it? You know, right now we've been low on products, but because of what's going on, are the shelves, are the product lines complete? In other words, are they just buying 2 or 3 pieces from each company?
Right.
Or are they buying the entire line? Big difference. How many lines do they carry? How focused are they? They have 6 or 8 lines. They got 2 or 3 lines. You know, sometimes a little bit more focus is a little bit better, easier to figure out. And then what kind of benefits are they offering? Do they have health insurance? Do they have vacation pay? Do they have holiday time off? Do you have pregnancy leave? All of these things play into that.
Right.
And you're going to have companies that are going to offer a lot of stuff, but if chances are they're going to have a lower commission.
Yeah.
They need to. They cannot pay you 50% and higher and then offer you all kinds of benefits. Mm. And especially at the cost of health insurance today, it's outrageous.
Yeah.
Everybody's got to start thinking about those kind of things. And then what software do they use? And what is your access to it? You know, one of the biggest problems we have in commission structure is access. And, you know, it's changed over my career. You know, we used to keep as much information to the salon owner.
Right.
And, you know, even in today's world, the salon owner in a commission salon regards the clients as belonging to the salon. Mm-hmm. That's part of it. Formulations belong to the salon. Clients belong to the salon. If you leave, chances are the owner is going to fight for the clients. They're going to try to keep them. That's part of how the commission program works. They're going to spend a lot of time building you up, and those clients are meant to stay there, as well as the formulas. So what kind of access do you have to the software is actually a big thing. Who controls the client records? That's another aspect. What marketing are they going to do? And in today's world, that's a big deal. Always has been a big deal, but it's even more so today. Do they put a lot of time into website? Do they put a lot of time into social media? You know, how accessible are they? Is their name out there? Do you get personal business cards? It makes a little difference. What kind of hours are they open? You know, how many days a week are they open? You know, can you go in there, if you're applying for a job, can you go in there and shadow for a day before accepting a position? You want to know if you like those people, mm-hmm. and if they like you.
Yeah.
It's not the worst thing.
Yeah, that goes both ways on that one.
Yeah. You get in there and all of a sudden nobody talks to you. Okay. And they're all in little cliques. Yeah, it makes
All the
time.
mean girls.
Yeah, the mean girls
Can't sit with us.
Yeah, you can't sit over here. Yeah, and they got their own little 2s and 3s of groups. So they don't want to play with the rest of the people. Are the phones busy? Pay attention while you're in there.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're applying for a job, you're listening if the phone's busy while you're there, or go in and shadow for a little bit and listen to the phones. Stay for a few hours.
Yeah,
you can do that. Most times people don't mind that kind of thing. What's the distribution of new clients? What's the policy? How do they distribute the people that are calling you?
mm-hmm.
Where are you on that list?
Right.
How many other new people do they have in the salon? These are all big things that, do you have to provide all the services? This was a big thing for me when I first got into doing hair because I suck at doing updos. Okay. And I remember they used to make me do updos. I mean, they looked so ugly. It wasn't even funny, and it created such anxiety. I was lousy at it. I never got good at it.
Yeah.
Okay. And the more I tried, the worse it got, the more I hated it. I mean, it was just a snowball effect. It was one of those real problem areas. And it gave me so much anxiety because I just wasn't good at it.
Yeah.
And I probably thought, well, maybe I could have practiced more. I kept going on with that, but I just did not like it. Yeah, exactly. You'd have these lopsided updos that just looked horrible. They'd probably fall out. So do you have to provide all the services? Do you have a choice? Is there online booking today? That's a big aspect of it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Can you access it? Can you book your own clients?
Yeah.
Online booking. Do you have to go through the front desk? Can you choose the amount of time needed for the services? This is huge. Because, one of the things I've learned over training a lot of people, some people are never, ever going to be fast at it.
Right.
That's their pace.
Yep.
I've worked with a lot of hairdressers and trained, and you're going to go, no, they're always going to take this amount of time. This is how their hands move. This is how fast they walk.
Yeah.
It's just the nature
Definitely.
of that person.
Yep.
Okay. What is the dress code? Do you have to wear makeup? What are the hair requirements? Dress code is going to be a big deal, and it's going to be one of those subjects that in commission salons you usually have staff meetings every week, every month, whatever it is. And I guarantee you half the conversation is going to be about how people dress.
Yep. Okay.
It is the worst subject in the whole thing. It's one of the reasons I wanted to give up being a commission salon. Okay. I don't want to talk about how you look. Okay. It doesn't interest me after a while. Yeah. And you're going to have certain people that know how to put it together and certain people that don't.
Yeah.
They just don't know how to put it together.
Yeah.
They look like slobs all the time. That's just life. Who sets the prices for your services? Hopefully, it's based on your education, your knowledge, maybe your following.
Right. You having some input on that.
You have some input in it. Yeah. How many hours are you expected to work and or train? How many hours are you expected to go in? Yeah. Do you work a 40-hour week? Do you work a 30-hour week? What are they offering you anyway? And then another big thing is whether or not you can get an apprenticeship or you can get an assistant position going in out of school is always a big part of it. And what does that include? And, I listen to students come in and apply for jobs and they go, well, so-and-so said they have an assistant program. And I go, did they actually have a manual that they train you from? Yeah. Probably not. Okay. Everybody talks about education. Everybody talks about having an assistant and making it work. And at the same time, very little of that education actually gets delivered. So much of the time they want you as a grunt. They want you shampooing, sweeping the floors. And those assistant programs can run way too long in my view. When I work with somebody coming out of school, I don't care. You know what? I am determined. Okay. I'm determined to get you to work. I want you working. I do not want you as an assistant for the rest of your career here. So I can't see taking a year, 2 years, year and a half, that type of thing to get you as an assistant. It just does not interest me. Yeah. I want to get you on the floor as fast as I can do. And you know what? Everybody trains differently. Right. Yeah. Everybody's going to learn at a different pace. And I can't, some people are going to do it in just a couple of months and other people are going to take it in 6 months, that type of thing. I get it. So how long of a period of time is that? Is it a written training program? You need to be able to see it. You need to see what it looks like. I can't just depend on the fact that you say you have all kinds of training. Show me what you got. Show me what you're really going to do. What are your daily duties? You got to find out. Are you being trained on the floor as you work, as they work? This is the kind of program that I do, where you come in. I'm teaching you as I'm doing the client's hair.
Right.
My clients got used to it.
Yeah.
They get used to the fact, and they like hearing about it.
I've interacted with your clients, and they ask about the stylists that were with you on their last visit, where they're at now. It's like, okay, well, she's next door now. She's graduated up to
right, exactly.
working on her own.
What happened to that person?
Yeah.
Who does the training, and what are their qualifications? Because sometimes the owner says we do all kinds of training, and then you're training with somebody that's been doing hair for a year.
Yeah.
It's not really legitimate. It's maybe I shouldn't say that totally. Maybe that person is really good.
Yeah.
And
be a fast learner versus someone who needs that extra guidance.
It's one thing to be a good hairdresser. It's another thing to be a teacher.
Yep.
It's totally different worlds. And can you meet them while you're there? Do you have to sign a contract or a non-compete? I mean, this was always a really big area in commission structures.
Yeah.
It's hard as an owner in a commission salon to build a clientele for people. Mm-hmm. It takes time. And you're putting a lot of money into it. You're putting a lot of training into it. You want the clients to stay in. And as unfortunately, a lot of hairdressers like to jump and go other places.
Right.
If you're signing contracts and non-competes, you better look at the distance that it requires you to go and be prepared to fight it in court, because sometimes owners will actually take you to court with it.
Yeah.
Okay. And I don't blame them. Another big thing is their parking. Mm-hmm. Parking becomes a big issue when you have to go to a hair salon. A lot of clients won't go if they can't get there.
Yeah. Okay.
And in cities, this becomes a big issue. And are there spaces for the employees to park?
Yeah.
Young women do not like walking out at 9:00 at night and having to walk a half a mile to their car. Right. I don't blame them. That's a huge thing. So to me, those are all things. When you're applying for a job and you're looking for a commission structure, mm-hmm. I think it's cool. All those things are going to help you out. Now, let me address the kind of the elephant part of this whole thing is whether or not you work in commission or you work in rental is all based on the numbers. And I'm going to explain that as we get into it, because it makes a big difference. And everybody needs to understand that there's no perfect situation. I'm not promoting one over the other one, because it's going to depend on you as an individual as to what you can do and how you can handle it. Okay. Mm-hmm. If you're a much more aggressive hairdresser that's going to go after it and build your own clientele, you can probably handle a rental situation. The rents aren't that high anywhere, right? Especially in our area. Okay. You also got to realize that when you get into the rental business, you're running your own business. Mm-hmm. Okay. This is your business. And quite honestly, right now, if you had registered yourself as a business, you'd be better off. Yeah. Okay. But a lot of times they don't register themselves. They just register themselves as an independent contractor, and that's it. But you are not working for anybody. Right. Okay. So you got to make a lot of decisions on your own. You got to be ready to do that. I had one person at a school that told me she couldn't be a rental person because she couldn't do inventory of her hair color. And I go, that's a 10-minute training. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's that simple. Okay. So, but it's amazing though. I wouldn't have thought of that. No. I wouldn't have thought of that as an obstacle. But to her, it was an obstacle. And I thought, well, I can train you on that. I can give you the forms, everything else. Show you how to do an inventory. Yeah. But, for some people, those kind of obstacles that you don't think, you and I might look at it and go, no, that shouldn't be an obstacle at all. Yep. But it is. Your distributor will help you. Yeah, your distributor will teach you how to do inventory. Trust me. Yeah. So, okay, so you're going to pay rent. Is it a weekly rent or is it a monthly rent? Mm-hmm. You got to realize that some months are longer than others. Yeah. Okay. Do you have to put a deposit down? Mm-hmm. Okay. Is there a contract? In a lot of places there is. Right. Okay. We decided not to do contracts. We just don't like them. So it doesn't obligate you for any amount of time. Because quite honestly, if somebody doesn't want to be there, do you really want them there? Right. It's that kind of feeling to it. And I have people call me up or text me, message me one way or the other. Almost weekly, and go, "What do you charge for rent?" And I go, wrong question. Because you're not asking me anything else. Yeah. You don't give a damn what kind of environment we have. Yep. Okay. You don't know what kind of salon you're going to be working in. You don't know what kind of education I can offer you. Yeah. Okay. You don't know what the benefits are. Okay. Yep. Do you have to provide everything for yourself? What's included? Yeah. And they just want to know the flat number. Yeah. You're not going to like my flat number. Yeah. Okay. Because it's got other stuff attached to it. So anyway, that's the kind of stuff you get. Okay, the rate will directly reflect what's included usually. Is there a receptionist? Are there back bar supplies that you can use? Are there station supplies that you can use? These are the things you got to find out when you want to go into a rental situation. Okay, is retail offered by the salon, or do you have to provide it yourself?
Yeah,
big question. Are there any retail commissions? Do you get a kickback if you sell the salon's products, kind of thing? What are the client comforts? Do you provide things like coffee and tea and wine and snacks and stuff like that? Okay. Who pays for business cards? All of a sudden, that's an expense you're looking at and go, okay, I got to pay for them. Does a salon provide software, and at what cost to you?
Yep.
Okay. We include software. Okay.
A monthly subscription.
Yeah. Is it a monthly subscription?
Yeah.
Okay. What kind of access do you have to that software? Can you book it online again? These are the things you need to be asking people.
Right.
Not how much is the rent.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Come on, folks. What kind of marketing do they do? The same type of thing as with a commission salon. What's the website look like? Okay. What kind of access do you have to the salon, and do you have a key?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you work any day of the week? You have to work just certain days? Can you just access the salon when you want to? Big deals for people that are renting a salon.
Definitely.
Does a salon offer any education? Definitely get into probably less education and more rental situations than you would in a commission salon. Once you break up the buying power, and that's what it comes really down to. In other words, in a commission salon, the owner buys all the products, buys all the hair color. You're locked into one color line usually. You're locked into the products he has in that salon, because he or she, I should say. And it depends on their buying power as to how much education they can get into the salon. Yeah. When you're in a rental situation, it's all onesies. Yeah. Okay. You're using whatever color line you want to use. Your choices. Now, it gets that what kind of a person are you? Are you the kind of person that says, I want to use what I want to use? Yeah. Then rental works for you. That kind of stuff makes a big difference. Same type of thing though. Can you shadow? Can you go in there and shadow? If you're just out of school, can you go in there and spend a day? You should be able to. You want to get a feel for that salon just like it was a commission salon. You want to go what kind of people you're working with. Again, is there parking? Especially for clients, how many spaces? What supplies do you have to provide? In other words, you have to provide your own hair color, probably most of your chemicals you got to provide, but do you have to provide all the other stuff that's in there too? Back bar stuff, because that all adds up when you're paying rent. What's the distribution of the call-in clients? Here we go again. You may or may not have a receptionist. Right. Okay. It just depends on the situation. We got one receptionist for all 5 salons. Okay? She answers the phones. Again, is there a dress code, makeup, hair requirements? In a lot of rental situations, they just say, no, you wear what you want to wear. It can get pretty messy. Yeah. Okay. Who sets the prices for the services again? Right. This is again probably where a rental person would look at it and go, I like to be able to charge what I want to charge. And, it's a fair thing. If you got the training and you want to charge the bigger prices, you got to be able to. If I'm new to the industry, is there someone there that can help me set up my business? Yes, they should help you do it. Right. Yeah. That's the kind of service we offer people. It's like, I understand you're brand new at this, so let me help you try to set it up. Okay. Can I choose what days and hours I work? Yeah. Usually in a rental situation, you can choose your days and hours. Absolutely. Here's the bottom line. It doesn't matter what the freaking rent is per week. It's a minor aspect of it. It's what else goes along with it. Right. What's included with it. What's included with the benefits of paying that amount and where you're going to be working. What type of a clientele do you have? If you're brand new in this, you're going to have to hustle. Okay. But just throw some numbers out. I was listening to one of your podcasts where a girl was talking about she switched from one to the other and then back to the other, and it was only a 3% difference. This is a numbers game when it comes right down to it. In her situation, it wasn't worth being a renter. She wanted to go back to commission. Okay. what you got to realize is that your hair color and your rent and the stuff that you have to buy every month becomes your fixed cost.
Right.
Okay. That is going to be the same pretty much, except for you're going to have a slight increase maybe in color. And that
hopefully
type of thing.
an increase on there if you're doing it right.
If you're doing it right.
Yep.
The wonderful thing about it is if you're out there hustling the work and you're turning out a good piece of work and you're actually promoting yourself the way you should be building a good clientele every week. It should be changing.
Yeah. You
should be able to generate more money. Now, say like in our case, I think our rent's like around $300 a week, and then there's some other things and you get some kickback on it too. But say that's a number. Okay, well, that means that if you were basing that on a 50% commission, you'd have to be up to at least $600 a week, right? But then also when you're looking at commission, you also got to figure in all your tax situations, your matching taxes, all that other stuff that goes along with it, which is another thing we got to throw into the whole rental situation is you got to take care of your own taxes.
Yeah.
Okay, you got to pay attention.
Business license, taxes, insurance.
All that stuff plays into it. Okay. Here's where it pays off to be in rental is when you can increase your services and keep them rocking. Okay. Yeah. If you're going to do, $1,000 a week, you're probably going to be running on the borderline of in services. You're probably going to be running on the borderline of, did I make enough money or not? But quite honestly, like I explained to a lot of people coming out of school, say you're doing, for instance, a $40 haircut, and then maybe you're doing a $60 color, and so you got a color client, a cut and color client for $100. Let's just use it to round off the numbers. Okay. How many clients do you think you can get to come in and sit in your chair in one day? Okay. Can you get 3? Can you get 2 people? What is it you think you can do? And how many days a week are you going to work? So say you say to me, okay, I'll work 5 days a week to start out with, and I'll get 2 people a day, and I get 2 colors a day, and maybe another haircut. Okay, so maybe I got I got $100 with each color. That's $200, and another haircut maybe is $40. So I got $240 a day times 5. Okay, I'm up over $1,000.
Yeah.
Okay, all of a sudden I'm looking at it going, oh, this is not so bad starting out.
Right.
Okay, I can definitely do that. But you have to commit it and break it down to the smallest denominator. Break it down to the smallest number and look at it. How many people a day am I going to focus on? If I try to focus on the big number and it's like, oh, I want to do $2,000 a week, it sounds hard to achieve.
Yeah.
But if you break it down all the way down to one day, how many people can you get in your chair, and are you going to focus on it and do it? How many people do you know? Have you lived here for a long time?
Right.
Do you know anybody? You have friends? Can you walk up to a stranger and go, I'd love to do your hair?
Yeah.
Can you do that? I'll give you X number of dollars off. I'll give you a percentage off. Here's my card. Come and see me by the end of the month, and I will take care of your hair. It's that kind of thing, is getting out there and marketing yourself. And if you can't do that, then definitely rental is not for you. You need to go to the commission salon and work it out. What I hate to see is people that go to the commission salon and then wait a year and then go, okay, I'm out of here. I'm going to go rent now. Okay. You just used somebody to get to another situation.
Right.
Okay. Commit from the beginning.
Yeah.
Which way do you want to go? What kind of person are you? Don't use that commission owner to drive your business to a point where now I can go on and rent a chair. Yeah. It's not really fair to that person. You ought to be able to figure this out in the beginning. Obviously, it doesn't work for every situation. You could get to a point where you go, okay, this isn't working out for me any longer in a commission salon. I think I'm going to go out there and do it. I get it. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you're a kid coming out of school, don't use the commission salon as a stepping stone to get to something else. Figure out where you want to be and whether or not you can handle it or not. If you can't walk up to a stranger and talk to them, probably you want to go to the commission salon.
Even being in a commission salon, you should be able to do that.
You should be able to, absolutely.
Clientele. And
but I think a lot of times when you're in the commission salon, you're waiting for the owner to do that for you. That's where you have the the back room, the kitchen, the back room kitchen, which we call the dum-dum room, where you go back there and sit there and wait for somebody to come in.
Yep.
It is the worst scenario, and it was the worst part of my whole life when I started doing hair.
Yep.
We'd all sit in the back room waiting for something to happen.
Yeah.
And you'd look at each other and go, and then of course, what do? You start gossiping. Okay. And then that gets kind of nasty.
So is that the reason that you no longer have a back room?
I never have a back room
I don't
anymore.
think you have one in any of the locations.
I got rid of them.
Yeah.
I hated those things. They were terrible. They're just breeding grounds for the wrong information.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I tell people, you sit back there, you're just going to get dumber and dumber, and you actually will.
You're not helping yourself back there.
You're not helping yourself back there. One of the greatest things I ever did when I first started that, though, was I recognized it right away. And I said, I didn't get into this business to sit in the back room and gossip about people. I got up and I went out and I watched one of the owners working. That's what I did. And I stood right there all day long watching him work. And then a year or so later, he ended up leaving. There was a group of people that owned it. He ended up leaving the group, and he asked me to join him. Okay.
Nice.
He asked me to become an owner with him.
Yeah.
And I did it. And from that point on, I began, getting much more involved in running businesses. It was just, I got lucky on one level. On the other level, he recognized the fact that I was serious about it, and I really wanted to learn. So, following the guy that does all the numbers, yeah, absolutely. People got to realize that you can make a lot of money.
Yeah.
It's there if you want it. But which type of salon you work in, it depends on what kind of person you are. And there's not one that's better than the other. It all has to do with your temperament, what kind of person you are, how much control do you need to have? Do you like an owner that kind of controls it for you, and all you got to do is the creative part of it? Then you need to get into a commission structure. It works out really, really good. But if you're a strong independent that's a pain in the ass, you probably want to work on your own.
Yep.
Okay.
So, as a booth renter going into a salon, you charge $100 for your color service, but the person next to you is charging $50 for their color service.
Correct.
What do you see being a potential hazard?
Yeah, it is tricky, because you have to, a lot of times, especially when people are calling in, they go, what do you charge for a color? Well, it varies a lot. It could be $50, could be $100, could be $200.
Right.
It depends on that type of thing. And then you get talked into those situations where you either say, look, I can either get a hold of the stylist and have them talk to you. Okay. It's hard to quote something over a phone. On the other hand, you got to also look at the experience level of each person. And you tell people that. Look, this person's brand new at it. They're going to charge less. This person over here, slammed all the time. They've been doing it for 20 years. They've had a lot of education. Look at the type of work they turn out. They're going to charge more.
Hopefully,
what is your
more after that?
Yeah. What is your budget? And you should be able to still create a team atmosphere. You should be able to learn from each other. You should be able to share.
Yep.
I've never been, I'm not a real fan of the private suites type of thing, because I like to be interacting with people. So it's not my cup of tea. I understand some people like it. It's fine. But I like the interaction. If you work with me in a salon, I'm talking to everybody. I'm talking to all the clients. I'm talking to all the stylists. I'm walking over going, I don't understand that formula you just used. Tell me about it. 'Cause I can probably learn from you. I like to be able to talk to people. I like the interaction. I go from one salon to the other. I really do. I jump over to the other salon. I talk to the people over there, and I come back over here. I just love chatting it up. But I'll try to get into the schools and talk to the students and let them know. Because right now, a lot of the schools will tell you, you don't want to go into a rental situation.
Right.
And it's just suicide.
Yeah.
Why? You can do it. Look at the numbers. Break it down to the day. Figure out what your fixed cost is going to be. And how many people can you do?
Yeah.
You figure it out.
Yep.
I can help you with that. I can run numbers in your head. You tell me what you can bring in, and I'll tell you how much money you're going to make. So, I think for the person that said, it was only 3% better. Yeah, it is until you get to a certain level of income coming in.
Right.
Okay. And if I guess I have sat down and figured that out. I just don't remember those numbers, but I still figure it out for myself. I look at it and go, all right, how many people am I going to get in the course of the week?
Mm-hmm.
And the other day I was looking at it and I go, yeah, I'm Steven, I'm doing around about 50 clients a week. And I'm looking at, okay, what's my average ticket going to be? Okay. And I figure it out from there. And that gives me an idea of what my income is going to be for that week or that month. I still compete with myself. I like that. That's where I get off on this kind of thing.
No, I mean, we should all have personal goals, salon goals, all that stuff. But I mean, when you're competing with yourself, you're doing something right.
Yeah.
I mean, you're trying to build yourself up. You're trying to do better than what you have done before.
Well, when you've worked in the business forever, you got to find little interesting things to do.
Yeah.
Because you get to the point where you're going, you know what? I'm just having fun at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, I have to hit the numbers because my wife will beat me up if I don't bring home enough money. But other than that, it becomes just fun.
So one of the big thought processes on someone who is doing commission, they don't feel like they're making enough money, is that they think that their commission could be higher and that the salon owner is walking away with 50% of what they've brought in. Mm-hmm. So as a former commission salon owner, give a breakdown of what their 50% of your $100 color service might go towards.
Yeah, exactly. Because what happens is, say it is a 50% situation. Okay. So you took $50 and the salon owner took $50, but out of the salon owner's side, he had to pay for the color that you used on the client and the color you dumped down the drain.
Right.
Okay. And he had to pay for the lights. He had to pay for any electrical thing that went on. He had to pay the insurance, he or she. He had to pay for the credit card charges, which ends up being tens of thousands of dollars at the end of the year.
Yeah.
It's huge amounts of money. He had to do matching taxes. He had to do unemployment. He had to do, I can't even remember what that number is, but there's a certain percentage there that goes right into the tax situation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. If he's providing any other benefits for you, he had to provide those. He had to buy the back bar supplies, the towels. He had to fit up the salon and pay the loan on the fit up of the salon. Mm-hmm. He has to pay the receptionist. Okay. How many more things can I come up with that he had to pay?
Yeah. So if you break it down, it sounds like maybe $5.
Yeah.
$10.
He might have made $5 if it was done correctly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
If you didn't have to redo the service, if everything went smoothly. Okay.
Yeah. And if you maybe sold some product to that client to have them walk out the door.
Because I bet there's a lot of services in there that there was no profit on.
Right.
Okay. So this whole 50% number is just bullshit. Mm-hmm. Okay. It should be 30 or 40.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's what people don't realize. And, that's why it was part of the reason I got out of it. Because you almost, at that time when I was running commission salons, it got to the point where people are arguing where they needed 55, 60%, 65%. I go, you know what? It's a losing game at that point. And I understand you want to make more money. Mm-hmm. Go rent a chair.
Yeah.
Okay. Because you can make that kind of numbers if you know how to play the numbers right.
Right.
It's there. I agree with you.
But in this job, if you want to make more money, you can easily give yourself a raise. Stay in that commission salon.
Yes.
Bring in more clients.
Yep.
Ask to work an extra day a week. If your books will allow for it, build up your books. Sell more retail. There's so many aspects that we can do.
If your salon owner is running the business correctly, okay? In other words, if you're growing your business on a regular basis and your numbers are getting up there, it should be set up so that we're doing evaluations and goal setting for that employee, right? Yep. So every time and they should actually do this by the numbers. It shouldn't be random, but once you get up to say 75, 80% booked all the time, okay, and you're starting to get people on a waiting list to get to see you, you probably need to have an increase in your prices. And when we used to run commission salons, you'd have some people that would increase their prices two or three times a year. You have to get to a point where you're comfortable doing that type of thing. Okay.
Right.
It's another good reason to be on commission. If you're scared to raise your prices, let the owner do it. Mm-hmm. Okay. And what happens is if you're raising your prices, you're going to get more money.
Yeah.
That's how you get a raise. You raise your prices. You don't raise your commission.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where hairdressers go, no, I want a bigger commission. No.
Right.
Just get your book up to the point where you deserve more money and we raise your prices.
Mm-hmm.
And if we have to raise them a couple times a year to get people to back off so that you have some gaps so that we can get new clients in, then that's the way it should go.
And I mean, and some salons do the sliding scale to where
Yep.
you can make more commission at a certain percent booked or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, but
it's a dangerous game.
Yeah. So, I mean, I've never been a fan of the sliding commission per se, but I mean, it works for a lot of people. It doesn't work for a lot of people. I mean, that's why in this industry, there's so many different aspects of ways that you can work.
Yeah, we used it for years. I'm not overly, as time went on, I got less excited about it. You know, a hairdresser is going to do what a hairdresser is going to do.
Yep.
And chances are they're not going to be motivated by a sliding scale. If anything, they're going to be pissed off if they miss the number.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
especially if your salon owner is not sharing those numbers with you to where you can see one more client could have put you over
could have done it
that line.
And that's where you need to monitor your own numbers too. Yep. You need to be able to know, it's like, okay, if I do one more client this week, I'm going to hit an extra 5% or 10% higher in my commission sales, which will matter to an extra $100 or so.
Yeah.
It makes a big difference. So, you know, there's a lot of monitoring of what goes on in that situation. I got sick of it. I don't envy that anymore. I just didn't want to do it anymore. Yeah. It's just me, you know. I like right now what we're doing. It's still not my favorite. Okay. I don't know if I have a favorite anymore.
I mean, but after this many years, I mean,
it all works. It's like they're saying,
you've seen every aspect of it.
You've seen it all. Yeah. It's like, you know what I like now? I don't have as much responsibility to the other people I work with. I have more fun with them. Okay. So you're running your own business. And if the person working next to me is running their own business and they're having a good time and we're all having a good time, you know, my wife and I focus on hiring personality.
Right.
You know, if we hire personality and you want to be trained, I'll train you. But I just don't want to work with people that are just in a bad mood all the time, that have a rough time all the time, that are just mean and ugly. And it's like, you know what? I just don't need that. I don't care how good a hairdresser you are. I want people that just want to come to work, have a good time, turn out some nice work, and have fun doing it. And so I'm having more fun now than I ever had because I get to work with nice people.
I mean, working with you, I mean, I've been with you now for several years. And even before I was working with you, I'd known you for, God, I don't know how many years now. But seeing what you offer to your staff. I mean, even though they're booth renters, like you're still bringing in education, trying to give them a lot of benefits that a lot of booth rent owners don't provide, or a lot of booth renters wouldn't have access to.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's a huge thing.
Well, you do have, with 5 salons, you do have a little more purchasing power. Again, it gets back to that purchasing power as an owner. You know, that helps you get a little bit more education in there. And then, especially for anybody that's humble enough to ask for help.
Right.
You know, I was fortunate. I trained all over the world. I can share that training with you. You know, I've learned more things as I went along. You know, I get new people that come in out of school that teach me stuff once in a while. Yeah. And it's kind of fun. But there's a lot of new stuff to learn as you go along. I still try to get more education as I do, but I want to teach people. I like sharing what I learned. It's more fun that way. So if you want to come in and learn from me, I'll be glad to show you how I do it. Yeah. You know, the other thing is, can I teach you how to run your own business so that you can do the kind of numbers I do? Because I do big numbers every week, but I have a blast doing it. And I'm not struggling along. I'm not busting my butt and working a sweat while I'm doing it. I'm just having a good time working and getting some good numbers out of it. I want to get back to that now. We've been stifled for too long this last few weeks. Yeah. But I'm anxious to get back to work. But I want to teach. I like teaching. To me, it's more fun to teach people than it is to do it anymore. It's where it's at. I like to see the new people coming along develop a good career. I want to see people be successful. That's a big aspect of it. It's like I don't want somebody to come in here and work for a year and not make any money. Yeah. I want to see them come in here and just rock it. I can show you, if you're interested in doing that, I'll show you how to do it. This is a fun industry. It's a creative industry, but it's also a business, and it's about the numbers and how you work them.
Yeah. So with it being a fear-based decision, should it be fearful? I mean,
I can't stop it from being fearful.
Yeah.
That's the hardest part of this. I try. When I go into the schools, I preach and preach and preach. And I still guarantee you are going to make a decision that is, you get lucky if it's the right decision. But you're going to go to the salon that probably isn't going to challenge you as much as you need to be challenged. Mm-hmm. Okay. You're going to go to the salon because you think you're going to fit in okay in that salon. And that's not really the kind of decision you want to be making. You want to make a decision that's going to be a step up for you. It's going to push you a little bit harder. That's where you really want to do it. If you're working with a good group of people, which you ought to be able to figure out when you go in and apply for the work, if you're working for a good group of people, they're going to help you get there.
Yeah.
That's the end. Whether it's commission or rental, that shouldn't be the issue. You want to work with people that are going to take you to where you need to go. And if you just look at what happens in our industry, okay, you get a number of schools in the area. They're always full. There's all kinds of hairdressers out there, and yet there's all kinds of jobs opening everywhere. Mm-hmm. Well, why is that? It's because people quit.
Yeah.
Our industry is full of people that quit it because they couldn't make a living. That's so sad.
So do you think that they should quit the industry or maybe just quit the salon?
Oh, what they should do, they should quit the salon.
Yeah.
If they're not getting there.
Yeah.
Go and find the right place at that point.
Don't give up on yourself.
Don't give up on it, because chances are you entered it for the right reasons.
Right.
Hopefully you did. And it's not an easy business. And the fact that it's tiring and it's exhausting, it's physically a hard business, but it's the most fun you're ever going to have.
Yeah.
If you can get into the right place and do it.
Yeah. So.
And there's a place for everybody.
Yeah.
I don't say everybody should come to my salon. That's for damn sure. It's not fit for it's not the right fit for every single person. But there's going to be people out there that are going to like who I am, that they're going to like the kind of training I can help them with. They're coming out of school. I'll help you get started. Yeah. There's going to be other people that are going to go into a commission structure and they're going to fit right in and love it. Yep. And there's the mall salon, there's the corner salon, there's the country salon. Mm-hmm. Go to New York and go to the city salon. Where do you want to be?
Yeah.
There's room for everybody.
Awesome. All right, Steve. Well, gonna have to cut it off here, and we will definitely be back to talk about some more.
I can't wait till we get to our next subject.
Yeah. So I think we're going to revisit the commission and booth rent again and maybe run more numbers and breakdown.
It would be nice to actually sit down and do numbers and let people see what numbers are.
Yeah.
I can definitely do that with you. It's a lot of fun. And hopefully people listening to this, they'll actually think more about it. And if people want to get a hold of me about it, they can get a hold of me. I'll talk to you. Yeah. I'll talk to anybody coming out of school that wants to just figure it out. I'll help you with numbers.
He'll talk to anybody.
He'll talk to anybody. Yeah. Thank you.
So, all right, Steve. All right. Well, once again, I appreciate it. And I will have all your contact information in the notes of the podcast. And you have a good day.
Thanks, Rob.
All right, thanks.